And you see, not a single one of them thought that it sounded rude, but it just does. It just does.
Eat out.
Oh,
to help
out. Yeah.
Hey, Dan, it's always good manners to eat out. So.
Oh, normally we start with like a fake punchline to a joke that hasn't actually been told, but
we don't need to.
This time, it's a real thing. Our government thought that, like, to encourage the helping of the economy, we should encourage people to eat out to help out. It's like, oh my god, you guys, you must have very, very disappointed wives.
Well. Or be very, very disappointed women.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Oh, dear.
So...
Welcome, everybody.
Hello, welcome to year 78 of the Plague Millennium.
We've just had our 78th breakout of the bubonic plague.
Yeah.
It's been kept at bay, but only because the zombie wall has grown in between it and the rest of civilization.
Grandfather Nurgle has blessed us with his touch. And the great pestilence sweeps across the land and embraces us all in its loving touch of decay.
Appreciated.
Yeah, well, Grandfather Nurgle loves you.
I'm Chris. When will this horror end, Johnson?
And I'm... Matt, this is the only way to escape Watson.
And you are presumably trying to kill some time. And that's what we're here to help with. Yeah. Nerdy news, geeky gossip, it's the Big Damn Cast. We talk about shit. And then, we talk about more shit.
And we've got a little bit of shit to talk about today. Only a little bit of
shit to talk about today. Yeah, pop culture-wise has been pretty quiet. Although today... not 3 hours hence of this recording.
Not 3 hours hence.
Bit of an update on, I'd say, one of our kind of favourite recent horror franchises.
Yeah.
I'll say recent. The resurgence of an old horror franchise brought back.
Its most recent instalment was a favourite of ours, shall we say.
Yeah, 2018's Halloween. Not to be confused with 1978's Halloween.
When was the Rob Zombie one?
2002?
2002's Halloween.
No, later, 2008. I think 2002 was Resurrection or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was around the 2000s, late 90s. I don't know. Point is, this film has been done a lot, but now there are canonically only 2 movies, folks. Just 2. The rest can get in the bin.
Halloween.
That's right.
And Halloween.
Paul Rudd in a cult can get in the bin. Halloween. But this October was going to see the release of Halloween Kills, the next installment, one of 2 to have been already shot. I think there's some reshoots were needed for the third film in this new franchise.
Halloween Ends.
And as of today, we know that they are still planning to do that, but they're figuring out how to do it. Due to the COVID-19 breakout pandemic in the US and across the world.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills was due for release this October. Mm-hmm. And John Carpenter himself put out a statement this fair afternoon to announce officially...
Carpenter.
Or, as we like to call him, Old Grandpa Synth.
Grandpa Synth.
He's made it quite clear that audience safety is their priority because they don't want a film that's going to get people sick. And because there is no clear guidelines of what's going on as of yet in terms of the reopening of theatres and exactly how it's going to go, because some theatres are open now around the world, some individual ones, some chains. limited capacity, massive social distancing rules in place. No new releases, bar a couple of independent films, mostly renting out stuff from studios that studios like Disney are putting up at a cheaper rate at the moment to help the cinemas have things to show.
Yeah.
And also the stuff that came out sort of early March that didn't really get its due is still being screened. John Carpenter and the people at Halloween Kills are like, we honestly, we don't want to tell people that in October we want them to come out if we ourselves don't know if it's still going to be safe to do it, really. It's not going to be good business if it's a smaller audience, and vice versa, it's not going to be good business if we kill the audience by hotboxing them in with a bunch of plague carriers. So
it would be an unfortunate title in that case.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes. Halloween has killed you all.
But
so they put it back
over here. The pubs are already doing it.
Oh geez, how many do you already know that have closed? There's at least 3 in our immediate area that have reduced the hours drastically since Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't check if any of the ones near me were open, so I don't know if any of them are now closed because I'm not a fucking suicidal
desperate
maniac.
to go and get a pint with a load of very drunk people who can't socially distance because they're pissed.
Did you see that article that was going around with that guy being like, "Oh, that first pint of Carling, it's like an angel's pissing on the tip of my tongue." I'm like, Carling has never tasted that good. I could be dying of thirst in the desert, and Carling would never taste that good.
I think maybe he's aware of that in the tweet. Somewhat suggests that even he's like, don't know if this was worth it, but it's reassuring, maybe. Yeah, do you know what else is reassuring? Not dying. So there is that. Mind you, I will never die on that hill, but I'll argue that Carling works all right in a lager and black. But that's mostly because it's Vimto you're tasting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're putting blackcurrant in it. Yeah,
or Ribena. You know, there are many brands of blackcurrant cordial available, but let's face it, Vimto's the best.
Blackcurrant and lime cover a multitude of sins, let's be honest, in the beer world.
In the beer world. Okay, just checking. I was trying to figure out how to get rid of the blood stains of the carpet.
No. You got more blood, actually. It's like
tigers, apparently.
It's like going over permanent markers with dry erase markers. It just lifts the blood off.
I know you can cover that Sharpie. More Sharpie!
The only way to solve the problem of blood is to get more blood.
If the room is bloody, then everyone will accept it. But rooms won't be bloody in October 2020. They're going to be bloody on the big screen Halloween Kills in October 2021.
But you know what we are getting this October? And this will get you really excited. Is it October, actually, or is it November? Have I spoken too soon? Oh, no, it's in November, so what we're getting this November. So a little bit after when we would have been getting Halloween Kills. I know what'll fill that gap for you.
Alcohol?
Ernest Cline's written a sequel to Ready Player One.
Oh. Oh, yay. Oh, God. What, that book that basically makes even nerds who read it go, we don't deserve to inherit the earth. We deserve all of that pocket money bullying that the movies depicted us as going through. We deserve it. This is awful.
Ready Player 2 releases on November 24th, 2020. No plot synopsis as of yet, but there is a cover.
Yeah, it's just big old blocky teal turquoisey letters, sort of in the style of the original paperback cover of the first one.
And there's a rupee in the middle of the O of 2, so it's like a Zelda, maybe. This is an interesting tidbit. You might have seen this already, but I realised that I hadn't gotten your thoughts on it. Because this popped up a couple of days ago. Marvel have got the Alien and Predator license.
Yeah. Yes, they do. And they announced it with 2 gloriously illustrated images. One depicting an alien in, like, quite possibly the most sort of just beautiful penciled form I've seen an alien creature in like, forever.
They're both David Finch.
Yeah, well, there you go. So. And the other one of a predator, a Uatu, atop Avengers Tower, clutching the dismembered helmet of Iron Man.
Well, the
They're
alien
the same
is in the Guardians of the Galaxy ship.
Is it?
Yeah, because
it's in the Benatar or the Milano.
It's got.
I can't remember whichever one they've got in the comics at the moment.
It's got Star-Lord's Walkman in the foreground.
Oh, that's cool. The same article announcing it also said that we are not crossing them over with the Marvel properties. We're just commemorating, welcoming them into our publishing family with these specially commissioned images.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but money though. So eventually, in a world where you can do Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, Punisher kills the Marvel Universe, Marvel Max, eventually you just know they're going to go, oh, fuck it. Right, guys, these are out of continuity, but this is what if the Predator came after the X-Men and go.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's a ton of,
come on.
Alien and
Wolverine
Predator versus DC character
Wolverine versus the Predator. Come on.
There are 3.
Come on.
There are 3 Batman versus Predators.
There are, and 2 and 3 are direct sequels to each other with lore and continuity.
And 2 and 3 are
it's
bad.
Mental.
First
Superman
one,
and Aliens is not great
really
either.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 3's alright. The Mr. Freeze stuff's kind of cool. That wasn't actually intended. I feel bad.
But Batman Aliens is good. Batman Aliens 2 is not so good.
No.
I've not read Green Lantern Aliens because it's Kyle Rayner, and who gives a fuck about Kyle Rayner?
Hey, he's an illustrator. Now you like him, right? Because he likes cartoons.
Okay, cool.
Like that other green hero in the 90s. Do you remember that guy? He liked cartoons too. You like Kyle Rayner now, right?
Cool.
Okay, but who's the Green Lantern you'd rather spend less time with? Kyle Rayner or Guy Gardner?
Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, fair enough. At least Guy Gardner's an entertaining prick.
Yeah, Guy Gardner's not a good character, but at least he's entertainingly bad.
He has a stupid haircut and he got punched out by Batman.
Stupid haircut.
One punch!
Oh, and don't forget Superman and Batman versus Aliens and Predator.
Yeah, I have.
That's a thing that happened.
I already have forgotten it.
That's the thing that happened.
Now, this is big news because Alien and Predator are sort of the cornerstone of Dark Horse Publishing. Dark Horse being a beautiful comic book publisher.
Certainly,
yeah, whose main successes have been in their licensed titles, the franchise legacy books, and
I think their biggest non-licensed thing is probably Hellboy.
Yeah, they've got they do have their catalog, but they, as far as publishers go, they're sort of their bread and butter, and I don't say this lightly. They're sort of well-handled continuations of these franchises, sort of the things that get them the love.
Although mentioning that their continuation of The Thing was not necessarily well-handled.
Oh no, but wasn't that early 90s, right? That's really weird.
It's not good.
Well, it's because they try and action franchise it. It's like The Thing is not an action story, so it doesn't work.
I'm not saying
but the AVP stuff, RoboCop, Terminator.
RoboCop
there was the big
is alright, yeah.
There was that big thing a few years ago where it was like it sort of was the alien timeline in different places, wasn't it? And it crossed Prometheus into sort of the quadrilogy timeline. They did a couple of those.
They did Fire and Stone.
That was the one I was aware of.
Which was a Prometheus miniseries, like a 4-issue Prometheus series, a 4-issue Alien series, a 4-issue AVP series, and a 4-issue Predator series, capped off by one-shots at either end. And then they did a sequel to that called Fire and Stone, which was the same deal, where it was a one-shot, a Prometheus series, an Alien series, an AVP series, a Predator series, and then end in one shot. But I can't remember what order they went in. But yeah, I've read them both. They're fine.
Yeah. But again, just sort of cool experiments. And publishing arm as well, they were the publishers for a lot of the novels and novellas involved in this franchise as well.
Yeah.
Their publishing house. So this is an odd one because it's the reason it's happened, obviously, is because Disney have acquired Fox, and the Predator and Alien franchises belong to Fox, and if the publishing deal comes to it, the current one comes to its end with Dark Horse, obviously it was in Disney's hands where they were going to take it. Were they going to renew with Dark Horse? Because they have some deals with other companies, other comics companies. Yeah, they publish Junior Star Wars comics for IDW.
And IDW handles some collections of stuff as well.
They gather stuff that's sort of in the murky waters. So IDW have got There's collections of like Doctor Who books that were published by Marvel that they do omnibuses of,
and they've got like
Dark Horse stuff as well.
They've got like artist edition collections as well. They do the Image IDW do that for Marvel. So they've got a good relationship there. And
but
also
Dark Horse though.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Dark Horse recently, a couple of years back, had their Conan rights revert back to Marvel.
Yes,
So
which
Marvel back.
Marvel were full on like no takesies backsies, and were like, oh, we're not only using him, we're ingraining him irreparably into the Marvel universe
Which
now.
they had
so
kind of
we have
done.
him. Yeah, but it was almost a statement.
When they originally had the rights in the 70s, they were like Marvel team-ups and Marvel 2-in-1s with Conan.
But they did the whole thing of like, here's how his story's going to play in the wider world, and here he's interacting with the characters that everyone now knows because of movies and everything. It was like, yep, they mean it. Like he's with them.
So and then of course
maybe there is a chance of the Transformers and Spider-Man fighting alongside Doctor Who and Death's Head again. Who knows?
Listen, IDW were doing a Transformers Terminator crossover at the moment, so
yes, there is.
I never read that Transformers Ghostbusters crossover either. I need to read that.
Was it Ghostbusters or the real Ghostbusters?
Yeah,
because they've been publishing books for both of them.
I think it was Ghostbusters. But I think it was set in the cartoon continuity for Transformers because the villain was Starscream's ghost.
Oh, that's genius. That is a really smart way in to actually like not have to convolute too much of an excuse for this to be a thing.
The toy that they did Ectotron that transformed into Ecto-1 was in the comic. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something similar for
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
They've just done the DeLorean.
Gigawatt just came out.
Gigawatt or gigawatt?
Well,
I suppose it depends on which side of the aisle you sit on, the Transformers or the Back to the Future side.
Yeah.
Gigawatt! It's Gigawatt!
I think Gigawatt.
Guys, call me Keith.
Call me Keith. Or to quote Judge Dredd, call me Kenneth.
Call me Einstein. Okay, Ironstein. No!
Einstein.
Stop giving him metal names.
If only it was Einstein. I'd yeah, alright. Cool.
Albert Einstein. So this is it's big news, but it's like we have yet to see what will come of it, but Marvel Comics have been doing some pretty solid Star Wars stuff for the last 5 years. So,
and of course, what they did with Star Wars and Conan is they repackaged and re-released all of the Dark Horse material as Epic collections. Because I've been reading. I've been rereading the. I've got my hands on the first volume of Conan Chronicles Epic Collection, which is the 2000s Dark Horse stuff reprinted, and that's very good.
Okay. Do you think Marvel rather Disney, are going to purchase Dark Horse and make Dark Horse like one of the publishing arms of Marvel?
No, because the dude who owns Dark Horse, whose name escapes me right now, is very...
Einstein.
Einstein is very like pro-indie. Like he's fiercely indie and has resisted attempts to acquire Dark Horse before. So
okay, fair enough. I just wonder whether or not they were going to become like a Vertigo or that kind of sidearm. I think the difference is I think Vertigo were always part of DC. Yeah,
that they were spun off from DC in the same way that Epic was spun off from Marvel.
Yeah, who is it? Epic? Who is it? Published Kick-Ass, was that Epic?
That was Icon, which was a creator-owned imprint under Marvel.
Ah, there we go.
For a while. It's what Bendis did Powers under as well.
Oh, right. Until Sony were like, no, that's ours now.
Yeah. And then
we own Powers.
And then Mark Millar
made Millar
self-published after that, yeah.
Which made it easier for you to avoid him, because you just like, I just won't buy any books with Millar World.
Yeah.
In the top corner.
Easy enough. But it's not like I was going out of my way to get Icon books anyway. But did I tell you that Marvel have also got some 40k comics coming out later this year?
They're doing Warhammer?
Yeah.
Oh shit! When did that license get acquired?
The first one's out in October. Under the guidance of Kieran Gillen.
Right, now Kieran can do mythology. But he can do mythology so well.
He's also a 40k player, so...
And there you go. Oh my god, yes!
Because when he announced it, he was like, well, some of you have asked me what would be the thing that could bring me back to Marvel. Because after he left the Star Wars ongoing, he's not worked for Marvel since. And he was like, well, it's this. And shared the first cover of Warhammer 40,000, Marneus Calgar. So it's all about
Marneus Calgar.
It's all about the chapter master of the Ultramarines.
Okay.
So,
you're losing me, but it'll come to me.
It's a weird title to like drop people in with, because like they'll look.
Everyone's just gonna call it Warhammer 40k though.
They're gonna because you look at it, and you're like, how do you fucking say that? Like so many...
like this Warhammer 40,000. The 40k book. The 40k book.
But it looks,
I'd be up for that.
It looks surprisingly bright for a 40k thing.
Well, the shift in mediums, you know, like maybe just visually they're like, we're going to try it this way. We're going to try it with this style from the off and see where the stories take us.
But that's
which I kind of get. Oh, Matt's whipping out his big old
it's too big for my screen.
Chunky thing.
That's the cover artwork from Jason Burrows.
That looks good.
So
that looks really cool. Wow.
Yeah, Marvel really.
You know what? Because of the brighter colours, it's sort of making the domed helmet thing stand out a bit more. I'm getting Fallout vibes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All that powered armor thing kind of goes back to Starship Troopers. Like that's its common ancestor. The novel, not the film.
Yeah. Which is
way more
nowhere near as good as the film.
It's nowhere near as good as the film because it's actually fashy instead of satire fashy.
Yeah. I'm doing my part.
but very influential on sci-fi. So yeah, Marvel really going after some licenses recently. Well, Disney, probably, I should say, going after some licenses on Marvel's behalf. So it's interesting to see what because it's now things are ramping back up and they're releasing books again. Just interesting to see what they're gonna do because they're kicking into their Empire event.
Yeah, this is the first. So all I know about it is Dan Slott's co-written it, and after in Spider Island, and Gauntlet, and like all these sort of events within Spider-Man. When I found that out, I was like, yeah, it's about time. Like it's about time they gave Dan a stab at Dan a slot with the.
I think it involves the
with the crossover events.
It involves the Kree and the Skrulls.
Yeah.
And
I watched Captain Marvel again tonight as by sheer coincidence.
It's a good film.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And there's a major involvement from the Fantastic Four. So it makes sense that Dan will be writing it. And also he's handed off Iron Man now. So I think he's just working on Fantastic Four.
That makes sense. That was always his dream though. He always wanted to work on Fantastic Four, so
I mean who doesn't?
Like
I still maintain that that's the reason Bendis went to DC.
Because he didn't get Fantastic Four.
He didn't get FF.
Possible.
Possible. I still believe that in my heart of hearts. Because it's the only thing I can think of, like... Because he had the run of Marvel. He could do whatever he wanted there. They basically had to give him the keys to the kingdom. They let him take over X-Men for crying out loud. He's like, I spent 10 years
he did a pretty good
Avengers.
job with it.
I liked his X-Men stuff. People don't like it because people don't like Bendis, but... I think the only thing that he could have done was like, okay, what have I got left to do at Marvel? Fantastic Four. Or you can't do Fantastic Four. All right, I'm off. Because I haven't done anything at DC, and I'd love to write the DC characters. So, again, this is all just speculation on my part, but I truly believe that Bendis not being able to take over FF or bring back FF even, was the reason, or one of the main reasons that he went over to DC. So but hey, dude's got the keys to the Superman car, so yeah, and has started doing some more Batman stuff. So as well as sort of revitalizing Young Justice and the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
So,
oh shit, I saw that. I've not read any, but
I've not read any of it. I hear mixed things about it because you always hear mixed things about Bendis stuff. Because some people
and
love
the Wonder
him,
Twins.
some people hate him.
Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of Bendis.
Some people. I think Bendis has got similar criticisms as that are often leveled against Joss Whedon. I don't mean like he's a prick
the sexual impropriety or anything.
That's not a thing I've heard about Brian Michael Bendis. But I think in terms of the way he writes, I think you get the similar criticisms leveled in them. Is like you either get you tend to get all his characters sound the same and all his dialogue sounds the same, but then by the same token, the people who like it go, "Oh, I love the way the dialogue flows and the way his characters talk."
Yeah,
so
I feel whenever I'm reading one of his books, it feels like it's under a showrunner.
Yeah,
and I don't mind that because then when they're self-contained books, and you're just dealing with your core cast of that book, it flows really nicely for me.
Yeah.
Like I quite like New Avengers because everything about what happened in that run felt self-contained.
Yes,
and I quite liked his Avengers run at that point. The Heroes Reborn, not Heroes Reborn. What was it called?
Heroes Return. No, Heroic Age.
Heroic Age. That's it. I quite like the tone there because again, it was that core cast. It didn't feel like you were reading Tony talking out of place in a crossover book.
Yeah.
It was, no, this is Iron Man, one of the cast of this book, and this is how these characters talk. And Ultimate Spider-Man's the main example for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he built that from scratch, basically. So it was
he
always
built
his
this comic.
Because I think a lot of, again, it's the criticism, like I'm saying, the things that people like about him are also the things that people don't like about him. It just depends on which one of those two people you are. And again, the biggest criticism is like, oh, everything he writes sounds like Ultimate Spider-Man. And also the greatest praise is, oh, everything he writes sounds like Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's like, God, that comic was great. More, please.
Yeah. And I think that's the same as, similar to, the people who criticize or laud Joss Whedon's writing. It's like, oh, everything he writes sounds like Buffy. Or it's like, oh, yeah, everything he writes sounds like Buffy and it's great.
Yeah.
So it's those feels. Although we did start the 4th season of Angel recently.
And, you did. This is unfamiliar territory for me. I kind of haven't visited Series 4 so much. I joined it again in Series 5.
We only watched the first couple, but fucking Connor, man. Just like,
God.
Yeah.
Angel's son. Just, no thank you.
Just,
no thank you. None of that shite. Also, this is around the time that Joss Whedon was making horrible decisions in regards to principal cast members and...
Well, Charisma Carpenter.
Yeah. Yeah.
She got the shaft, shall we say. And it's, and people still hold that as we should have turned against this guy then.
Yeah.
Not now.
But I think the reason why it sort of didn't hit people as much around that time is because that was around the same time as Buffy's final season, and all eyes were on that at that point.
Yeah, I guess
everyone was paying attention to that and the big deal of it, and the publicity drive of like, Buffy is ending. This is it. This is the last season. Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Here's all the interviews. Here's all the press.
But I think Angel was always
it's only on
the
reflection
show to Buffy. So that it was never quite in the limelight in the way that Buffy was.
Oh no! Well,
it's the spin-off curse.
It was 2003, so the limited exposure that anything got back then, pre widely accessible internet, was all the focus was on Buffy rather than Angel at that point. So people probably weren't really paying attention to it. They were just like, "Oh, Chris Carpenter's leaving. Oh, that sucks. Oh no!"
Back when we were ruled by magazines.
Yes, I have at least 4 or 5 issues of the Buffy Vampire Slayer UK magazine in this very house. Published by Panini and Titan, which I always thought was weird because I was like, they're 2 different companies, right? But I think one of them was like, because it was basically compiling shit from American magazines into a UK magazine. So I think one did that and then the other published it. But it was like, fair enough.
Panini and Titan.
Do you know what else Disney have acquired that, much like the works of Bendis, seems to be getting reevaluated and suddenly criticised all of a sudden, despite the fact that it's been around for 5 and a bit years, and like the criticisms all seem to be leveled against an imaginary take for some reason. Hamilton came out on Friday.
I've still not watched it.
I'm not going to say anything about specifics, but I'll say this. I've avoided everything about Hamilton over the years for 2 reasons. One, when a musical gets big, I flash back to when we were in college, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here as a performing arts student, and yourself as a musical theatre student.
You're probably not going to be speaking out of turn, so...
There was this weird thing that happened in college, and it would have happened at loads of colleges and drama schools and unis around this time and the years since, where the current big musical suddenly gets this cult amongst the musical theatre teams.
That wasn't unique to our situation. That happens everywhere.
For my tenure at Pendleton, it was Wicked. That was like the one.
And Wicked wasn't even that new at that point. That's the really sad thing.
I know, but I think the tours must have, like, the first tour must have happened, and the merch was appearing.
I think it opened in 2003, I want to say.
I think it might have been a bit later. Broadway, maybe.
It might not have come over here till a bit later, but yeah.
Yeah, in 2007, no one had shut the fuck up about it, and I was like, okay. And I was already in that point in my late teens where I was like, if someone keeps having a go about a thing, I just automatically am like, piss off with that. Shut up, please.
I mean, it has got a couple of bangers in it, but it's not perfect.
It's got a couple of bangers, but having now seen it about 4 or 5 years ago, I can say, I thought it was, the way I described it that night was, it's the X-Men Origins Wolverine of musicals. It's a backstory I don't need to know.
That's harsh.
It's a backstory I don't need to know that destroys any charm or appeal I had of the original and recontextualizes it in a way that just makes all the characters into bastards. And it's like,
I feel like there was a trend of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Wizard of Oz has been a subject of that.
It was like,
yeah.
Because it's based on a series of books, isn't
it? Yeah. And Oz has been under the magnifying glass a lot. In terms of people going, what makes it tick? I mean, the last big Oz-related thing was 2013's, I want to say.
Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oz the Great and Powerful. Yeah. It might have been earlier than that, actually. It might have been 2012, because I watched it on an aeroplane, as you do for films you're not too keen on. And I was just like, this is also like, hey, everyone was a twat. And you're like, okay.
Everyone
was the charm of that original... Yeah, but the charm of that original story is that it is just whimsy, and there is good and there is evil, and that's sort of the charm of it. It's for kids, and it's pure childish escapism for adults. When it's dark, it's dark. When it's happy, it's really bloody happy.
Were the books that whimsical though, or did they have a sort of a darker undertone to them?
I've not read any of Baum's work, but I think it's. From what I know, it's closer in tone to like Lewis Carroll, like Alice in Wonderland kind of stuff, where it's like where it's meant to be scary, it's scary.
Oh, so it's failed pederasty. Is that what you're telling me?
I mean the content of the books,
when you say
not the content of the mind of the author.
When you're saying it's closer to Alice in Wonderland, I'm thinking, it's closer to someone who had a sexual obsession with little blonde girls.
The Mad Hatter. Of Batman fame.
From?
That weird thing Alan Moore did.
No, Lewis Carroll.
Anyway. Was it Alan Moore who did that one?
Lost Girls, yeah.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, man?
It's weird, man. It is fucking trippy.
But anyway, so...
Lost Girls is fucking trippy.
Hamilton blew up in, 2016. Of course, by this point, internet culture, social media is much different from how it was, 10 years prior to that. So I'm hearing it. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Oh, everyone keeps going on about this fucking thing. Jesus Christ. And I have this weird thing. I love musicals. I love being in musicals. I absolutely love, indulging in a musical, listening to its soundtrack, getting obsessed with it. I do. But I have this weird aversion to the publicity of musicals, and I don't know what it is. I think we've talked about this before, that if I see a trailer for a musical, I'm like, oh, fuck off. And it's weird, because it just hits me, this whole like, oh, God, it just looks so, it's just so twee. Oh, go away. And yet I know that if I sat down in the theatre and watched it, I'd be like, this is my jam. This is fucking awesome.
It's the Cameron Mackintosh effect.
Yes, the big gurney, big show moment up close. The reason why everybody acts a certain way on stage in a musical, folks, is so that it can play to even the back row. That's why things are exaggerated to a point. Even subtleties aren't that subtle. So when you cut a trailer for it and it's full of close-ups, it's just like, oh, get back, get away from the camera. So I've always had that weird thing. So I see the publicity for Hamilton like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, I can't be arsed. This isn't a thing I want to deal with. No, thank you, goodbye. Then I wasn't familiar with In the Heights, so I wasn't like, I didn't really know sort of the work of like Lin-Manuel Miranda, for example.
Yeah, I was passingly familiar with In the Heights. Pretty good, man.
Yeah. And then I saw Moana, and I was like, oh, this is that same guy. Shit, this is great. I really like this. And I listened to the soundtrack of Moana a lot, and I was like, yeah, all right. Okay, I think that weird little bump that I know is a weird little bump is now fading. I would like to see Hamilton, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and avoid it as much as I can, so that whatever context I see it in, it's the purest possible way of seeing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to know too much ahead of time. I know it's about a founding father of America, and that's all I know. And I'm going to leave it at that. COVID's happening, pandemic's going on, tours have been postponed, ticket prices are still like astronomical wherever you want to go see it. So I bit the bullet when I knew it was coming out on Disney Plus. I went, that's how I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch that. We're going to do it. And Lou and I made it a date night on Sunday night, and we watched it, and we were fucking blown away. It's one of those where like
you've heard about.
Yeah. And yet more than I imagined it was going to be. I'm that bitch. Monday morning I listened to the soundtrack again. Yesterday and today twice I listened to the Hamilton mixtape. So I'm that bitch now. Like I'm the thing I hated. I didn't die a hero, Matt.
You're right.
I lived long enough to see myself
become the villain.
Become the hoodie wearing villain. Yeah, with Hamilton. The logo right on the bloody center of it.
And that is how he became the Hamilton.
I'll wait till you've seen it before we sort of talk about the show critically on here.
I'll try and watch it this week.
I really recommend it. It's a long one. It's 2:40. They do put an interval in, but it's a minute. Sound timer comes up on the screen and counts down a minute. So who was I was talking to about it the other day? They said that they did. Oh, it was lovely Will Carlisle. Our listeners might be familiar with him as Mr. TARDIS Reviews. On YouTube's. He was borrowing some DVDs to rip footage from for his upcoming new project, which I can't say anything about because he's not said anything about it yet. But and he was talking about how him and his partner Yaz had watched it on Friday, I think it was, and he talked about they got to the interval and they just like ran like cup of tea really quick, gone to the toilet really quick. He said basically it's an interval on hard mode. I was like, I mean, you could have paused it. And he went, you won't want to pause it. And I was like, okay. So then we watched it and it was like, I don't want to pause this. This is fucking great. I think we paused it to literally top up our drinks and then come straight back into the living room and be like, right, act 2, come on, let's go. We also planned to start our viewing at 8, I think it was 7 o'clock.
Oh, so it feels like a theatre, yeah.
But we started at 7:20.
So it feels
exactly like a theatre.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing. But the reason I want to bring it up is the internet lost its shit for the excitement and critical reasons last Friday when it came out. It was like, oh my god, here it is! Like people had already seen it were like, I can't wait to see it again. People who'd never seen it were like, I can't wait to watch it. And then the internet started going in on something. Specifically that the show doesn't cover the extensive personal history that a lot of its central characters, namely George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton himself, and his wife Eliza Hamilton, nee Schuyler, like these guys own slaves, and it's kind of weird that the show doesn't talk about that, considering it's talking about like the positive changes these men wanted to make in America. Now, it is true that Alexander Hamilton and his wife Eliza were trying to essentially abolish slavery outright, but they knew that they would need a lot more support to get that done. The show sprinkles that in. There are bits where he takes digs at people for talking about, like, you know, the thing he's built on, the foundation of their state is built on its farming, and he's like, yeah, but we know who's really picking the crops, don't we? And so there are these references in there throughout it, but it's but in reality, like, Hamilton himself was completely against slavery, and then when he married into the Schuyler family, he was like, oh, I guess we have slaves. Okay, I want to stop campaigning for a bit. And it's like, okay. Now, the show is not about 100% pure gentleman or pure individual at all.
No. It
is not about a hero. It's about legacy, and it's about what we do for the people who come after us and what it means. Yeah. It's about the positives that these people did instill in what is known now as America, and, like, you know, the future they wanted to leave behind for their kids and their kids' kids and everything. But it was just weird to see the internet really blow up on this, because it's been around for years. The show's been around. It was like workshops in 2013, off-Broadway 2015, Broadway end of 2015, and has been around ever since.
I think
it's odd that people have an issue with it now.
I think it just speaks to the difference in the public sentiment and the sort of discourse in the last 5 years. How rapidly things have sort of degraded, and sort of how much of the ugliness that so many people were already aware of has become even more visible. I think it's that. I think that's why people, anything that is put in front of people now is going to get put under that same lens, and things that would have not raised an eyebrow 2 years ago are now going to have people thinking more. And I think that's a good thing. Like,
oh no, absolutely. I agree. The mindset is absolutely in the right. I just found it odd that they all decided that the first thing to get that grilling online was a 4+ year old recording of a stage musical. Yeah. That is still going on, but it's not been raised at any point until this wide release on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I think it's just
Plus.
I think it's just in the musicals came back to prominence, like, because how many more people are being exposed to it now that it's on
through Disney Plus
than were, because it wasn't easy to get a ticket. I don't know if there'd been many tours in the States. There certainly hadn't been a tour over here yet. So yeah. I mean, in the musical's defense, it's they don't shy away from these people. They don't paint these people as perfect at all. But also, the conscious decision of the creative team of the show was to cast, like, all of its leads with non-white actors. There are white performers in the show. One very prominent, who kind of has to be, because it's a depiction of a historical figure who they need to kind of keep completely in context to show why America did what it did in terms of its revolution, which is Jonathan Groff as King George III. And it's like, I was always like, really? Why is that the one always people... Why is that always the number that people have brought up and said, like, oh, the King George bit is amazing? I'm like, okay, I'm sure it is, but, like, and then you see it and you go, I think it's that performance. Fucking hell. Yeah. Like, everyone's incredible in it, but there's just... If you know your UK history, you know that George III was the one who has sort of gone down as being the very unhinged king of England. And we've had a lot of unhinged monarchs to vary.
Oh, yeah.
So...
But this guy in particular is sort of he's our Caligula. Like he's our he's that kind of like, oh, okay, dude sounds. And then later on in life, it's like, oh no, he's actually now being diagnosed with mental illnesses, and you're like, oh, so it's not that he's archetypal mad villain. It's that no one was looking after him, and he was not looking after himself, and it was going worse and worse and worse.
That's got its own play all to itself.
Yeah. But they chose to its principles will always be cast with non-white actors.
Yeah.
They have said that that's not a strict rule forever, but they think it's important, and the reason for that being that Hamilton did try to campaign for black rights. He didn't get that work in, and he could have done so much more, and he didn't. After his passing, his wife, she kept going and campaigning for it.
Mm-hmm.
This show was kind of going, do you know what? He did a disservice to black people in America, so let's use his story as an opportunity to give black people in America, specifically black people in the arts, a starring vehicle. And it's like, okay. So there's kind of a take back element in it as well. I mean, obviously some of it is rooted within the music of the show is very much kind of, you know, socially and in terms of its origins. Like there is hip hop, there is blues, there is stuff that is known as Black American music by origin. So there's a lot of that tie in there too.
Yeah.
But they're mostly using, they've said that they're mostly using the show as sort of a reclaiming, obviously not outright. You can't avenge all the people who suffered at the hands of basically being slaves or being regarded as slaves 200, 300 years ago. But what they're saying is we're using his story and the story of the Founding Fathers to give opportunities to black Americans and non-white Americans and, you know, do it that way instead. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, that's a good shout. Also, in an interview 2 years ago, I want to say, it was whenever he was returning to it for Puerto Rico, when after Puerto Rico was hit by that horrific hurricane a couple of years ago, and don't worry, the president solved it by throwing out paper towels to a crowd. Hamilton came back for a limited run in a theatre in Puerto Rico, and Lin-Manuel Miranda reprised his role as the title character for the first 3 weeks of like the 10 weeks. It was in a smaller venue. It was in like a university theatre. It was like a 400-seater. He reprised the role, and Puerto Ricans, anyone local from the area, could buy the tickets for $10 to see it. Nice. Everyone else, the price was $200 a seat, and 100% of the proceeds went to rebuilding Puerto Rico's universities and performing arts centres.
Oh, awesome.
So it was like, that's amazing. Like, he's returning to it, not because he's like, I want to do it again. He's like, because if I do it, people who missed out on the original Broadway run will come along. Yeah. They will pay that money, and they'll know that it's going to a good cause.
Like,
so it was like, that's awesome.
Using your own star power is a good thing.
And during that time, he said the question was brought up in an interview. I'll have to find the links and put it on the Discord. But there was an interview where he was asked, you know, sort of like, if you touched on the slavery, like if you had touched on the slavery more within the show, how would that have been depicted? And he says, well, the thing is, all of our leads are played by people of colour, non-white performers, you know. So if we were to do that, and we were to, say, depict a slave of one of these families, how the hell do we do that without it feeling really disconnected and distracting in some way? It would feel kind of odd no matter who it was, because you've got this weird kind of immediate visual mirror of you know, what everyone kind of pictures of that time in America.
Yeah.
And there is a language of colour to it. It just is there. It's inherent in the historical event, and it would just kind of take people out of it a little. I think people. He says I don't think the audience couldn't suspend their disbelief long enough. It's more that it would be this weird little scene where everyone would go, "That was odd."
Yeah.
And you know, so it's like I kind of get it. And again, the characters touch on it. Not all, like none of the characters in this, bar like maybe two, are depicted as genuinely perfect individuals who like meant well for everyone and always took other people into consideration, and none of those characters are like the lawmakers or founding fathers. Like the only founding father who doesn't sort of get shat on is George Washington, and even then that's because they're just sort of depicting him as like the figurehead that begins what becomes America as we know it. Yeah. So it's more that thing of he's the lightning that strikes first, and then everything comes from him and builds upon what he started. So yeah, it's there's that, but also I think a lot of the people who are judging it are they're putting a lot of weight on a piece of entertainment yes, it's based on a real person and real events, but it's entertainment. You can educate and inform.
I get what you're saying there, but I think that's a bit of a that's a step away from saying, we don't want to be political with it. Like all art is inherently political, and so I think even the lightest of entertainment is gonna bring with it, intentional or not, those connotations.
I mean, the show is political in nature, and in literally and subtextually. It's about, like, the second act goes into the forming of the Declaration of Independence and America's banks and finances, and where the money goes and where it's come from, and how the House then divides and the presidential runs begin, and why there's a conflict of interest within the government, and that stuff is in there. But I just think the focus of the story, the running theme in it, is the life of this one guy, and his marriage, his politics, and his sort of, spoiler alert for a dude who lived hundreds of years ago, like, the events that lead to the end of his life, and the man who he keeps bumping into, his political friend and sometime rival, Aaron Burr. Like, it's about them. So that's the focus of the story.
Yeah.
So I think if it were a mini series, I think if it were, everything, including sort of the depiction, the reality of slavery is brought into complete focus in the book that this musical is based on. It was based on a historical, like, encyclopedia and biography that came out in the early 2000s. So it's sort of, that stuff is out there. So what I'd say is, if anyone really is still kind of reeling from it in that way, like, the stuff here that they could have touched on and used the platform for, I just encourage you, don't bemoan these guys. It's a musical that's been out for years, and
I think that's the difference.
It's not doing any damage. It's just not touching on something that maybe it should have done.
I think that's the again, we've talked about this. It's all right to like something. You just got to acknowledge any problems that it has.
Yeah,
acknowledge
the musical doesn't say that these people are. Yeah, but there were more shortcomings that it could have talked about. But the OG book does it in depth. So, I mean, seek that out if you want to learn more about it. Because, again, the other kind of slightly more facetious but still sort of funny take on this is, guys, if you think that they weren't doing the story justice, wait till you find out that these people weren't black and didn't sing all the time. Because it's like, it's a different medium, and it's an adaptation. That some of their history, some of their personal stories are changed for the sake of of romantic narrative and things like that. And I mean, there's a whole thing where one character's married to one person and writing letters to another in a way that suggests there's an unrequited love there, which is purely fan fiction. Like, it is
historical fan fiction.
And that's But what is weird is the Tumblr obsession with the Hamilton versions of these fictional... the fictional Hamilton versions of these historical people. Don't go looking into that. It's fucking weird. Anyway, I recommend Hamilton. I think you should watch it. I think you'll be off your tits with happiness.
I think I'll try and get to that this week.
And what's kind of nice is, as well, because it is not a musical that you or I are going to see a chance of getting in at any point, probably ever, you don't get that weird little... well, just in general, like, it's when you see it, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, that there is no role for me here. There is no role for me unless I'm in the ensemble."
I thought you were seeing it. I was like, "Oh no, being in it, totally, yeah."
But I get this, and I know the performers do, and I'm sure you do. Where you see certain shows and you go, "Fuck, I'd love to do that one. I'd love to be in that one. Oh my god." And you sort of go like, "Oh shit, I'd love to." Oh god, no, I can't even think about it. It's making me annoyed that I've not done that show. Or like, the auditions didn't come over here. I'm really annoyed about it. You can't worry about that with Hamilton. You don't get lumped with that because you just watch it going, no, I'm never going to be cast in this. So I could just sit back and go, I'll sing along with it at home. It's fine. I'll sing along with the soundtrack at home. It's totally cool.
It's totally cool. Yeah,
it's totally cool. Let's go.
I'll just give that a go. We've been talking about watching it, but just not got around to it.
And Daveed Diggs is a fucking marvel. He's so good.
Very good. Very good. I am... I'm jazzed for that. Shall we do a couple of little emails.
A couple of tiny little dirty little filthy little emails.
Tiny little dirty emails.
You said that without flinching. A couple of dirty emails.
Little dirt mails.
Oh no, Harry.
This one comes in from Dan. Dan the man.
Dan the kneecap man.
He says, Matt. And I'm like, why are you saying it 3 times? It's an email. I heard you the first time. I read you the first time. He says,
I heard your voice in my head.
I recall you saying how you thought having the waveform of your favourite song on the wall was stupid. I did say that, and I stand by it to this day. Dan goes on to say, I agree, but today I saw this, which I think tops it in stupidness, although my friends think it's kind of neat. What do you both think? And it's an advert on Instagram for wall art of various movie frames squashed down.
Wait, what?
So you take the frames. So the example he's sent us is of Empire Strikes Back, and it looks like this. Oh God!
Hang on.
I've broken it.
The screen was like, "No, you
it.
can't see this. You can't see this. I'm not going to do it to you."
I've broken it. This is why we shouldn't do these things. We're still doing these over Skype. It's a real pain. It looks like that.
Guys, can you all stay at home and wear masks so we can hurry up?
So it's
Wait,
just like
what?
a colour line with... Yeah, so basically it's just squashed down. So it's a line, and you get the sort of the main colours of the frame as very slim lines. So they give it like coloured books on a bookshelf.
That wouldn't go with anything.
No.
But the only way that works is if you were in a relatively clear room, like with very minimal furniture, and the other 3 walls are just purely like white or off-white, and one wall looks like that. Like, that's the only way you could get away with that. But even then, you'd just be saying to people, have a guess what that is, eh? Have a guess what that is. It's a wall. No, have a look closer. Look, you can't see it, but it looks like it's Empire Strikes Back, that. It's Empire Strikes Back.
It's just like...
What? It's Empire Strikes Back. It's Empire Strikes Back, that. Do you know what it is? It's Empire Strikes Back. Look, there's Hoth. There's the Hoth bit.
You're one step away from it, like, this is deconstructed burgers. It's just like a pile of flour and an egg and whatever else is in your bun. Like the ingredients of a brioche and then just raw ground beef.
Just sat in the middle of the plate. It's like
served to you. This is decent. Oh, well, it's the only way to experience burgers because you just get all of the flavours separately and you combine them in your mouth. It's like the wall art equivalent of that. It's like, who wants to see their favourite film squeezed down to individual millimetre thick colour stripes? What's that? Who's that for? Who's that for? Who wants that? Who came up with that idea? Who's like, you know what? I'm going to sell strips of colour to people with too much fucking money and not enough fucking sense. You know, I was just... No, it's a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea, and I'm going to say it's a stupid idea, and I stand by my belief that it is a stupid idea. So thank you, Dan, for bringing this idiocy, this just stupendous dunderheadedness to my attention.
The audacity.
No, it was on Instagram.
Oh.
So.
No.
Here we go. Here we go, Chris. Iain sent us a quiz.
Oh, my God. Iain
sent us a quiz. And he says, tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Chris Tarrant.
Oh, does he have to be?
Email 1 of 2. I watched Quiz the other night.
Oh, the dramatisation of the people who cheated on Millionaire.
Or did they?
Oh, yes.
It's pretty fucking good.
They did.
Michael Sheen does a scarily good Chris Tarrant, but he's a very good mimic. He is. He's proved that with like Blair and such before and stuff. So it's like Frost
David
Nixon.
Frost. Yeah.
Damned United.
Yeah. Oh God, that was good.
Yeah.
Damned United was amazing.
He is good like
that. Himself in Staged.
Yes.
Played himself.
I've seen clips of that. I've not sat down and watched the full one.
Apparently it's very digestible. It's like 6 episodes and each is like 10 to 15 minutes. It's like, sure, I'll crack it. I'll crack through. My priority this week is the Twilight Zone.
Like the kind of thing that was on QB when QB was around for about 5 minutes.
QB? Quibi,
that's the one.
QB's the sequel.
QB's the sequel. Ain't gonna be no
4D
sequel.
films.
Ain't gonna be no sequel.
Is it gone then, Quibi?
I think so. I don't know.
I can't remember who it was. It was a comedy writer. She was joking about, like, did anyone get hold of any of those Quibi hoodies? And I was just like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They did merch? Quibi! Baby back ribs.
I don't know who Quibi was for, but it wasn't for us.
Was Quibi the one that was vertical, like Snapchat or TikTok?
Yeah.
Why?
So it was like short form TV episodes shot in that format.
Why? Because they would have had to have shot it in wide, but shot it with the crop in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Anyway, Ian's got some questions for us. It says,
"What did you do to Quibi?"
Email 1 of 2. So, as you both already know, I started asking a few questions on the Big Damn Casting stream, so here are the first 5. It's easy to do Chris Tarrant. You just do random inflections and bring every end of every sentence up like this.
We'll get to the rest of the email after the break.
Email 2 will have the answers after you've tried to answer all of them. You might want to get a pen and paper.
Oh, shit.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
Oh, okay.
Question 1. What, starring Patrick Stewart, did Matt not want to touch in case it gave him a rash? I don't know, but I like it. I can't remember.
What's the vampire film he's in?
Life Force.
Was it Life Force?
I've seen Life Force several times.
It's not Life Force.
I don't think it'd give me a rash.
Oh, the Emoji Movie. That's my guess.
Yeah, it might have been the Emoji Movie.
It could be Picard episode 2, based on your reaction.
Hey, I like Picard. I liked Picard.
Is such a strong word.
He would have given me a good rash. So
number 1. Yes, Captain. Bring me the cream for the good rash.
Number 1. Lower.
All right.
Lower.
Here it comes. Engage.
Fuck me.
That's what he said to Reich.
Make it so.
Number 1. Jean-Luc is big hard.
Shorty, wanna fuck?
Straddle me like one of your chairs.
Swing your leg over and play me like a trombone. So yeah, we're gonna go with we'll go with the Emoji Movie.
Oh god, Emoji Movies, I guess. Yeah.
Question 2. What were the last episodes put on the Tumblr? Or last episode put on the Tumblr? Before we abandoned Tumblr to its hellish fate. I'm going to say somewhere
yeah. When we were
27, 28 maybe.
I think in the 20s, possibly. Yeah, once they stopped us posting boobs on there, we just stopped posting all the boobs on there that we used to post on there.
Like, Tumblr is no fun without the boobs. And that's
Tumblr's no fun without the boobies. Boobs.
I'm going to say 28.
I think we would have got a little bit further in, possibly. So I'm going to say 35.
Okay.
Not too far from you, but I think about 35.
Who out of this list of 6 real people was the first to get a big damn thumbnail? Was it Stan Lee, Jenna Coleman, Donald Trump, James Franco, Taika Waititi, or Spike Lee?
Donald Trump.
I'm going to say Donald Trump. I believe it was very early on as well. And,
Yeah, it was the.
We both regret it.
Yeah, it was the real life supervillain episode. It's like
Yeah.
number 6 or 7 or something.
It's really
Yeah,
early on. It's really early because it
It's
was
early
before.
on.
Because we started in the summer of 2016 and he was elected in November. So
yeah,
it was before he was president.
yeah.
The 2-part series Capaldi reviews of Series 8 and 9 of Doctor Who had what full titles? I know the second one was Throbbing Peat Meat.
And the other is Bulbous and Sweating.
Bulbous and Sweating.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The Capaldi Part 1 Throbbing Peat Meat and the Capaldi Part 2 Bulbous and Sweating. I think it was.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like it. And question 5. In the Big Damn Channel, welcome to the Big Damn Channel video. What did Chris say that Matt would allow us to do? What did you say that I would allow you to do?
Knowing me, something like allow you to live or something like that.
That was the one with the fart, wasn't it? No.
I don't. No. The welcome to the Big Damn Channel is it's you and me in this office. It was the little sort of like minute-long clip where basically like, welcome to the YouTube channel. Here you'll find the podcasts and extra videos and this, that, and the other. Probably tickle your beard. Something like it's tickle something of yours.
I'll let you tickle my beard. We'll go with that.
So I think it's a tickle of some kind of Matt's person.
Are you ready for the answers, Christopher?
Beady-doo. We should play the PS1 game sometime. It's so slow, but the questions are pretty good. I've got a junior version as well.
Question 1 was in fact the Emoji Movie.
Hey,
Episode 2. What did you say for episode 2? I said 28.
For question 2, 35.
We're both way off.
Oh, super early or a little bit later?
It was later. It was a double post of episodes, and it was episode 63, which is Dear David.
Yeah.
And 64, which was It Came From Outer Space.
Oh, shoot. So it was toward the end of 2017 then?
Yeah. That was a real shocker. So, yeah, the Who Are the Real People was the first. It was, in fact, Donald Trump. But it was episode 14.
Oh, yes, because it was prior to... our biggest listened episode at the time was the first one, because episode 1 always grabs everyone's attention.
Yeah.
And then the next one was Bulletproof Love for Luke Cage, which was a 1 or 2. I think it's literally the next one after the one with Trump in the thumbnail. It might be. I remember the thumbnails around that time. There's Ramona Flowers is one of them, so it's I always remember around then because that was when I grew quite conscious of. Like, I don't want every thumbnail to just be a dude from whatever the main movie we're talking about is.
Yeah.
But I also don't want the thumbnails to ever be Donald Trump again. Hey, don't worry, he won't be president or anything, was my thoughts at the time.
I regret everything. I regret literally everything.
Supervillain Top Trumps was the name of that episode, I think.
Which I think is why you went with the thumbnail.
Yeah.
We were, in fact... correct about both the Peter Capaldi episodes, although we had them the wrong way around. It was Bulbous and Sweating was part 1.
And then Throbbing Peat Meat.
Throbbing Peat Meat was part 2. Because I think that was referring to the vein in his head, which throbs when he's doing his best angry acting.
It's Throbbing Peat Meat.
God, I love Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. I hate all the stories he's in, but I love him as the Doctor. It's such a hard position to be in.
Which 12th Doctor is your favourite? Series 8, Series 9, or Series 10/Class?
The Peter Capaldi one.
My favourite 12th Doctor is the flash of eyebrows in Day of the Doctor.
Yes, the quintessential.
It was the most enigmatic his character ever was, and I don't mean that in a horrible, picky, sarcastic kind of jokey way. I'm like, no, that guy's got my attention. That's effective. I like it.
Yes. Angry eyebrows. Attack eyebrows.
These are attack eyebrows.
Finally,
I'm gonna beat up a hobo.
So what did you say that I would allow you to do in the Birth of the Big Damn Channel video? It wasn't tickle my beard.
Oh.
It was nest in my beard.
Ah. Which, believe it or not, is a top tier perk for the Patreon.
But I would say I need to get on the Patreon. I've not touched it for months. It's just been, I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, there's been some other things. I think. Do you know what? Hit the viewers with a double whammy of the Transformers treats that we pre-recorded. Why not? Slap them with them. I think we're gonna have to record some individual commentaries maybe and put them up.
Oh no, we'll just wait until we can get together again. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I could have you played by a puppet.
Tempting.
And you could have me played by Talon.
You can't get him to sit still for long enough.
Exactly. He's perfect for the casting.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. As always.
Thank you, Ian, for that quiz as well.
If you want to send in some stuff, you can do at bigdamcontact@gmail.com. You can get us at BigDamnCast on Twitter. Go to twitch.tv/BigDamnStream for some stream action. I'm currently going through the first Last of Us, which is a lot of fun. If that's the right word for it. I don't think it is.
I don't know if it's the right word, but it's a word. It's a word.
Last episode ended on a hell of a boom.
Yes, it did. Oh, God.
So,
oh, geez. I just remember what it finished on Monday night. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And now we're into fall. So we're in the second chapter of the game, 4. So, yeah. I'll be carrying on that the day this comes out on YouTube, day after it comes out on Spotify. And yeah, just, be good to each other, take care of each other.
Wash your hands, wear a mask, follow the marking on the floor.
Unfollow J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
Yeah, just... Oh God, did you see that letter from Harper's Weekly that a bunch of authors had signed?
Yeah, some of them thinking they were doing it. Some of them thinking they were doing it to encourage free speech, and have since now gone, oh no, I see what this really is. I would like my name retracted from it, please, because basically it's a bunch of pissy authors like Rowling going, people shouldn't be attacking me for my opinions. Freedom of speech is important. Cancel culture is harmful. And it's like, right,
okay,
shut up, you billionaire, shut up. Freedom of speech ain't freedom from consequence. You're a turf.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh no, I'm being censored because people are challenging me on what I'm saying. That's not what censorship is, and the only people who think that's censorship are people who've never actually been censored.
Write better screenplays, JK. Just kidding, Rowling.
Just don't be hateful. Yeah.
Don't be a Voldemort.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard to not hate things. It's really
be a
not
Luna
that
Lovegood, hard. Guys. Be a Neville Longbottom.
It takes a lot of effort to hate something. It's tiring. It's like holding in farts all day.
Like you know what that is. Like you've lived through that ever.
Hey, alright, only a couple of hours at a time while we're recording, and then I just let them all out at the end. Sometimes I lift off the ground.
What people don't know is the theme song is just brand new every week. Yeah. You farting out the tune.
Fart it out on demand. Don't edit it in later. We have to go now.
Finish those beans. Oh, you've already started. Bye, everyone.